Unpopular celebrities. Yeah, we speak that truth so effortlessly. Live mic, no script, just energy. From the block to the base to the legacy. Unpopular, yeah, celebrities. Started with a combo, now the world leaning in. For vets in the room, let the stories begin. No filters, no scripts, just wisdom and sin. We talk hustle hard and the places we've been. From the field to the mic, that growth is the lesson. Turn pressure into presence, that's the real confession. Got the crowd tuned in for the raw and the rare. You can feel the truth breathe through the air. Unpopular celebrities. Yeah, we speak that truth so effortlessly. Live mic, no script, just energy. From the block to the base to the legacy. Unpopular celebrities. Talk music, talk ball, talk rank and salute. Every topic on the table, every word in pursuit. We the voice for the ones that the world overlook. Turn pain into punchlines, life into the hook. Yes, in the chair, we breaking the mold. Every episode's heat, every message is gold. No gimmicks, no mask, just purpose and peace. When the lights come on, that real don't cease. Unpopular celebrities. Yeah, we speak that truth so effortlessly. Live mic, no script, just energy. From the block to the base to the legacy. Unpopular celebrity. We ain't chasing fame, we redefining the game. Give light to the name that the system can't tame. Got the people tuned in, cause they feel our lane. It's the voice of the real, not a chase for acclaim. Mic check, then the vibe start to settle for a host. One stage and the truth is the medal. So before that show start, let the beat breathe steady. When you hear the name, just know we ready. Oh yeah, when you hear the name, just know we ready. Unpopular celebrities. Yeah, we speak that truth so effortlessly. Live mic, no script, just energy. From the block to the base to the legacy. Unpopular celebrities. Unpopular celebrities. Yeah, we speak that truth.
Boom. 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 We are here. Yes, sir. Sound the trumpets. Sound the trumpets, ladies and gentlemen. We are here. Mic check 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. In the place to be. It's your boy Philly DC. Live and direct. I know you see your boy in front of the MIC. That's a quick rhyme for y'all to start y'all off with today. So hopefully everything is working. I'm just going to do a quick check, see what the deal is. Y'all, welcome to the show, man. You know what I mean? Welcome to the show, man. I'm just looking around to see where we at. You know what I'm saying? Okay, it shows we live. You know what I mean? Let's see. We live. Okay, I see myself. All right, good. Good, good. Okay, we good there on it. Foxtrot Bravo. Let's check the Yankee Tango. We look like we good on Yankee Tango. What's good, y'all? We just waiting for people to get in the building. Who am I? Quick introduction. It's your boy Philly DC in the place. And then also you got my partner, the P to the E to the T to the E. He's out there handling his business. He can't be here today. So I'm going to hold it down again with my ginger ale. You know what I mean? I'm going to hold it down. And we're going to run this show we call Unpopular Celebrities, because we speak the truth so effortlessly. Living life, no stress, no synergy. I don't know where those lyrics came from. But anyway, yeah, it's me here today. So we going some topics. We got some hot topics for y'all to hear today. And this is your first time being here. I appreciate you. Welcome. If you've never been on this show before, we're the Unpopular Celebrities. We talk about anything and everything. We talk about whatever you want to talk about. You want to talk about your mama, your daddy, your baby mama, your boss, the dude at the bodega, the dude that crossed you off, whatever. It's a safe space. You can talk about anything and everything that you want to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm just going to be the person that's going to guide the conversation. You know what I'm saying? So if you in the building, let me know you here. You know what I'm saying? Let me know you here. Drop something in the chat. Let me know how you feeling this Sunday afternoon. Sunday after Father's Day. You know, again, shout out to the fathers. I don't think we get enough of that anyway. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the fathers. If y'all wondering, like, yo, why does this dude keep moving around his head? I'm trying to make sure everything is squared away. You know what I'm saying? There you go. We got somebody in the chat. The Gooch, stand up. The Gooch in the place to be. The Gooch, a.k.a. Tony B, a.k.a. Tony Bostic, a.k.a. the leader of the Bostic organization, has blessed us with his presence today. Shout out to you, my brother. Salute. Happy post-Father's Day. You know what I'm saying? Who else we got up in here? Drop your name in the chat so you can be recognized. You know what I mean? Think of this as guard mount. We're going to say your name going to come up, and I'm going to call your name like you in guard mount for all you SF folks out there. For all you folks in SF, I feel sorry for y'all. You know what I'm saying? I feel sorry for y'all. Y'all never had to worry about that. But anyway, I digress. Just a couple of things. So it was a good week. Working week, taking care of some folks at the job. So that was great. Hanging out with the wife yesterday. Got to drive the Evo. That was great. You know what I'm saying? Changed the steering wheel around. Don't know about y'all, but most people know that I have a lot of cars. I have like 3 cars, right? May not seem like a lot to people, but it is. I have 3 cars. And so with these 3 cars, people seem to think, I had to put the spotlight on me. So I got people seem to think because I got all these cars, I'm good at fixing cars. Pause. No, your boy's bad at fixing cars. You know what I mean? I got a Dodge Challenger 13, Lancer Evolution 10, and I got a right-hand drive JDM Nissan Silvia. Those in Kadena stand up. Y'all know what that is. You know what I'm saying? That's a Grail. Nissan Silvia. Not 180SX. Silvia, baby. Right-hand drive. SR20 DET. That's what's up. And these cars cost me a lot of coin, but they're all paid off though. However, I tried to tinker with them. So there was a steering wheel that I wanted to switch out. I bought 3 steering wheels, 1, 2, 3 for my Evo. Because my plan was to switch them out for car shows and such. And so I came up with the bright idea in 95-degree weather, humidity in San Antonio to go in the garage after the barbershop and switch the steering wheel out. Should be simple, right? You just take off a couple of screws. There's like 8 screws around the steering wheel. Use a hex key, whatever. But chat, I had 4 sets of hex keys, all different sizes. And I could not get that screw out. The one hex key I needed, I could not find. And so it was driving me crazy. So I went to Walmart to go find the hex key. Chat, I was going to buy a brand new toolbox just to get this hex key. And then luckily it dawned on me, yo, just check again. So I went back, checked it again. I found 1 hex key out of 4 sets that worked. And so I'm in business. I'm taking off the joint. I'm wiping sweat off my brow. I'm feeling like somebody, I'm a stripper in the what you call 'em, sweating and stuff like that. And I get to 1 screw, I pull it off, it drops. And for you car guys, when you hear a screw drop, it is a deafening noise because you know why? 1, you don't want it to fall in the engine. 2, you know you don't want to lose that screw. That dang screw fell under the carpet in my car. Paul. So it took me 20 minutes to get that screw out because my hands are so big. I had to kind of maneuver it. I had to cut a section in the carpet to get the screw out. And so anyway, long story short, I finally get the steering wheel on. How about the horn don't work? The horn didn't work. I touched the connectors together, red and black. It worked, but one of the connectors only had one connector. For so you car guys out there, real car guys that know about steering wheels, you know, like there's a connector you've got to put together or something like that for it to work. But anyway, needless to say, my steering wheel looked good, but the horn don't work. So guess I figured that out. But anyway, that's why I spent the rest of my day yesterday sweating. Anyway, I digress. Okay. So I said we got 6 in the chat. Yo, drop your name in the chat. See you in here. We got some good topics for you today to go over. The first one, let's just get right into it. The first one I want to talk about is we just had staff sergeant numbers drop. So for all you military folks that's still in the belly of the beast, I hate to say that because I loved my time in the military. But for all you folks that's out there that's in the belly, yes, staff sergeant promotions just dropped. So looking at it right now, looking at the numbers, they said we are at 26.59% of staff sergeants promoted to tech sergeant. 26.59%. There was 6,668. I don't like that 66 number. Pause. That was promoted to tech sergeant out of 25,000 eligibles. If you're a staff sergeant and you in the chat and you were one of them, drop us a note and let us know. If you're a supervisor that got somebody that just got promoted to tech sergeant, drop us a note. Let us know how you feel, baby, going into the technical sergeant joint. Thomas White, what's up, baby? Philly stream today. That's right. Philly. Philly is where I am from. Yes, sir. Pause. I like doing that. Okay. So anyway, talking about the staff sergeant promotions, right? Let's talk about that real quick. So always a great time. All you old folks that got promoted from staff sergeant to tech sergeant, y'all knew what it was like. It was, I don't know about y'all, but it was told to me, tech sergeant was the most difficult rank to get promoted to. The most difficult one. And I don't know about y'all, but it was right. It took me like, I think it took me 2 times to make tech sergeant. Twice. And it was hard. One, you had the SKT, then you had WAPS. It was hard. It was crazy work. But now you look at today, 26%. Now, I'm not debating and saying that making tech is easy today. I'm not saying that. But what I really want to talk about today is I want to talk about there is some folks that didn't make it that continue to talk about what happened when the Air Force took out the time and grade, time and service when they changed it, right? Remember how it was 2 separate metrics to gain points, but it died in 2017? Tony B, it used to be. I agree with you. It used to be. But remember how they were talking about they wanted to reward your folks who were performing, like your fast burners versus your folks who were long in experience? So I just happened to do a look, and there was some people talking about that. Thomas White says, I personally think senior is the most difficult, but tech sergeant is tough too. Thomas White, tell us why you think senior master sergeant is the most tough one. That's interesting thought. Because most people think when you make master sergeant, it's just a little step to senior. Or maybe they think senior to chief is not that hard. I'm curious. We'll see what that says, what you think about that. But anyway, so moving on to the topic. So in the end, one of the rumblings that was particularly on the Airmen Senior NCO site, it was an interesting thought. It says, does WAPS reward better airmen or better gamers of the system? That's an interesting question. And then a follow-up is the EPR or EPB inflation a real documented problem or just old head griping? In other words, is the EPB really an issue? You know, because most people believe that folks get their EPB is overinflated anyway. They think it's a lot of like exaggeration, so to speak. that people usually don't get true performance documented on there. And so most people seem to think it's pointless. For instance, in 2010, data showed that an average eligible senior airman got a 128.79 of 135 possible EPB points or EPR points back then. That's 1 4 and 2 5s. That's why force distribution got bolted in 2014 and 2015. Provocative point. I will pause there. What y'all think about that? Let me know in the comments. Let's see. The Gooch says, yep, pretty damn dumb. You can value experience without devaluing intelligence. Oh, man. That's a good one. I like that. First comment of the day. Also, the Gooch says, it's never the system. It's always the people. Great point there. So, Gooch, let me ask you this question. We've talked about this on the show before. Y'all drop me in the comment 2 to 3 things if you was SimSAF for a day. What would you recommend to fix it? Would it be to eliminate EPBs altogether? Would it be to insert a mechanism to be able to give negative comments on the EPB without the dreaded referral? And would you bring back time and grade, time and service? Would you bring that back as far as counting them as separate points? Would you bring that back? Be an interesting point. I would say for me, I personally, one, think they need to bring back WAPS across all grades because there's something to be said about learning the information you have to be able to enforce or give to your airmen. There's something about learning your history in the Air Force. There's something about understanding the differences in feedbacks. I'm showing my age, but that's important. Saying that WAPS is just a way for folks who are good testers to get promoted, I never was a big fan of that take. Why would you devalue the ability for people to actually study and pass the test? I would argue, when people said like, yo, if we had these WAPS tests, then how come you always have people who get promoted and they shouldn't get promoted because they're good testers? Well, since they eliminated WAPS in certain grades, namely the senior NCO tier, would you argue there's still people still getting promoted and they shouldn't be getting promoted? I would argue that there's still people in this system that are still getting promoted and they shouldn't be. I would argue that. So WAPS is not the issue. So I would bring WAPS back. Number 2, I would also create a system where folks can put in negative comments. Let's see. We got a comment from Thomas White. Thank you, my brother. Thomas White says the transition from technician to team leader is tough. A lot of master sergeants struggle with that. I just told my brand, new master sergeants, congrats. And from this point on, no one cares about what you can do individually. It is now about how effectively you lead teams. Oh, man. Golden egg drop bomb right there. Thomas, how many master sergeants did you talk to when you told them that? And I would love to hear what their reaction is. Arthur LaShawn, welcome, my brother. Welcome. Let's see what you got here. Arthur LaShawn Walter Jr., say that with your test. Walter Jr. says, I would develop quotas for installations to hold their own boards. You have to have the human element involved. Time and service, time and grade hold weight. Keep current EPB system. Interesting. Never thought about it that way. Okay. You get that one, Arthur. That was good. Thomas White follows up and says, also the elephant in the room that we don't like to talk about politics. Yes, absolutely. Politics, I would call it. Politics, as we call it. The Gooch says, WAPS has to make sense, though. The question should be straightforward. Stop trying to trick people with bogus questions. I love the negative comments option. I agree. You know, for you guys that had to take WAPS when y'all was a young troop, y'all remember that? It was that little hocus pocus questions. Could be, maybe, or is true. I hated those questions. I hated those joints. All great comments, y'all. I think in the end, you're always going to have your fast burners and you're going to have your folks who are steady. And then you're going to have your dirt bags, right? I would argue your fast burners need to be recognized, but at a certain degree. Meaning, I don't like fast burners who may step over others to get promoted. I think this goes back to Thomas White point when he was talking to his mass sergeants, thinking about your airmen versus individual accomplishments, which is kind of a shift in topic I'm going to go to, but it's related. What do y'all think about folks who always love to broadcast their individual awards on social media? Now, nothing wrong or nothing against folks telling people that they just won an annual award. Or let's say they just got a job. Because I admit, your boy was one of them. I would, hey, I'm taking my talents to this X base as the command chief. Oh, thank you so much, guys. I'm so honored to be selected as the command chief. Like, I've done it too. But family, there's got to be a point where there's a difference between showing that you're proud of something than straight flexing. I mean, like super flexing. I'm talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger, Brock Lesnar flexing. The Gooch says you can't be great at your job, but terrible at leading people. I agree. But you know what, Gooch? Why is it that some commanders seem to appreciate folks who are good at their job first versus taking care of people? Why does it seem that way? You know, I've always said when I hire people for certain positions like executive jobs, being a superintendent or NCOIC, I always look for people. I would rather have someone who can take care of people, but is average at the job, because I can teach them the job. As long as you're teachable, I can teach you that. But you can't teach people how to take care of people. By that point, you could be too gone. You're supposed to start them out early. Either you have it internally, this drive to take care of people, or you learn it by watching people being able to be good mentors. And so when I hire you, especially if I'm going to put you in charge of a lot of people, I need to know that you value people. If you're not that great at the job, again, I can teach you that. And not only that, if you take care of your people, they will help cover down on your flaws and get you to the point where you learn. You know, it was when I think about good commanders I've worked for, I'm just going to shout them out. And if you had a good commander you work for, let's shout them out. Let's give them their flowers. This is going off topic, but let's give them their flowers. Let's start with Seth Frank. He was a lieutenant colonel. Now he's an 06. In the security forces realm, I worked for him in Germany. All those who are in Ramstein, shout out to y'all, stand up. I worked for Seth Frank in Germany during 2004 to 8, I believe. And this guy was being a cop and being personable. You know what I mean? He wasn't like the snake eater type, but he knew his job. He was super smart. And he really cared about people. And I remember when he was there were some things he wasn't very knowledgeable about at Ramstein because he was brand new. But people loved him so much, they made sure he got to where he needed to be and understanding the landscape of Ramstein. Great example. Then let's go to Colonel Babbitt. Shout out to Colonel Babbitt and congratulations to Colonel Babbitt, even though she didn't give me a shout out, but that's all right. But congratulations to Sarah Babbitt. She was a phenomenal commander over at good old ATSFS, the meat grinder, as I would call it. Those that worked at 18 SFS at Kadena, you should have your own decoration. Because if you can make it at the 18th Security Force Squadron, Kadena Air Base, Japan, Okinawa, you can make it anywhere. That was a tough job, but one of the best jobs I ever had. Sarah Babbitt was a cop, but she wasn't a typical cop, in my opinion. She wasn't a snake eater, but she cared about people, and she was super smart. And she had the type of personality where people would rally around her. Nobody could mess with Sarah Babbitt. She was awesome. Then let's see, we got okay, my bad, Gooch. The Gooch says, I celebrate with them. Flex to the max. You earned that. Just don't let that bleed over into how you work or lead. Humble cartwheel. Got that. And also Tony B says, love me some Sarah Babbitt. Kadena build killers. That's right. Shout out to Sarah Babbitt. Congratulations on her retirement. A well-accomplished career. Had the pleasure of working with her. But you know what, man? No, I ain't gonna do that. Anybody that's a Sagittarius, y'all know how we do. My Sagittarius is about to come out, but I'm not gonna do it. Focus on the topic. Okay, back to the topic. In the end, I wasn't even ready to be a tech sergeant. At least I thought I was. I wasn't ready to be a tech sergeant. But as a retiree, my biggest concern is always wondering what the supervisors are doing for newly promoted airmen. That's my biggest concern, even today in retirement. When I go to the base, and I do go to the base still, and I pick up my dry cleaning or I go partake in Charlie's. Their wings are good. Spicy rub, they're good. Or I partake in Charlie's, you know what I'm saying? And I see young airmen. The main thing is I don't feel compelled to sit there and give them my speech about, when I was in, I did this. And it's not that. I look at them in awe and I look at them in admiration because I understand what they're doing. And if anything, I mostly care about how they're being treated now. Tony B says, nah, let it out. You know what? F that. You know what? I'm going to let it out. Just 1 second. I'm going to time it. And I'm going to go on my rant. And before I do this, I'm just going to say I'm over it. Unlike Pete, this doesn't harbor in my mind. It triggers when certain things happen. So you see this? I'm going to give myself 10 seconds. Ready, go. Yo, when I got to Kadena, man, and it was my second unit as a chief, first large unit. Yo, Joe, Colonel Babbitt, OJ, yo, you couldn't break them dudes. They would not let me in, man. Why wouldn't they let me in? You know what was weird? When I became the chief there, and it was on Halloween. Tony B, I don't know if you remember this, on Halloween, when we did the trunk or treat, I'm riding around the golf cart. Oh, my bad. That was 34 seconds. I said 10 seconds. Okay, we'll stop there. We'll stop there. Okay, moving on. Back to the topic. Okay, we're going to put a bow on this and then move on to the topic. Here's my thing. First, congratulations to all the staff sergeants that got promoted to tech. Congratulations. If you are happy to be listening to this, or for folks listening to this now, I would ask you to pass this on to them. Here's my hope for you brand new, I said brand new, that's not even a word, for you brand new tech sergeants. 1, cliche-ish, don't forget where you came from. Number 2, technical sergeant means something. Technical, that means you're supposed to be good at your job, really good. Meaning you don't get to just boss around staff sergeants and airmen. You're supposed to be able to teach them how to do their job. You should be a technical expert. Hell, you should be teaching the master sergeant how to do their job. You're supposed to be a technical expert. Number 3, don't be in a rush to make master sergeant. It's going to come. Get there through hard work and from taking care of people. And the last thing I'll leave you with is continue to have fun. Don't get so wrapped up in who you are now. You're a big brand new tech sergeant. Have fun, man. Because I'm telling you, if you don't, time is going to go by. You don't want to be disgruntled. You know what I mean? Have fun, enjoy the time while you can. So again, congratulations to the staff sergeants making the tech sergeant. And special shout out to Daniela Wolf, my old exec over at Air Force Installation Mission Support Center. She's getting promoted to Master Sergeant. And my other old exec, Cortland Holloway, made Master Sergeant. Yes, sir. So proud. That's one thing I miss about being in the military, seeing good people do good. So I'll have the pleasure of attending her promotion tomorrow at my old stomping grounds tomorrow. Good looking out to Ronnie Woods for inviting me. So I'll go over there and congratulate her and then head back to work. So I'm looking forward to that one. So anyway, moving on. Okay, so we already covered that one. So let's go over, which I thought was an interesting story. And I want to be careful how I cover this one, because what I don't want is for folks to get the wrong idea. Before I talk about the story, I would say the biggest thing is I think people should be treated with dignity. I think people should be able to be who they want to be. I think people should not be put in a position where they feel like they're being like judged for who they are. And in the end, I don't really care what religion you practice, what's your race, your gender, your sexual orientation. Just be a good leader and take care of your people. That's the most important thing. However, on the flip side, I do feel like when you are in the military, you have a certain image you have to protect because the public expects certain stuff from us as a military professional. But I think in this day and age, especially with social media and cancel culture, I find that sometimes people look at it two different ways when it comes to military image, on and off duty. So before I start the story, let me share an image courtesy. And, before anybody says anything, it's not like every day, like, oh, hey, look at the Airmen NCO page. I know, I used to hate the Airmen NCO page, but shout out to them. They have some really good content. And I think when it's used correctly, it really gets a pulse in some degree to what young enlisted folks are thinking. But sometimes it's misguided, I think this might be one of them, in my opinion, and I'm curious to see what you guys think as well. So I'm going to share my page quickly. Just give me a second. Let's see here. All right, let's see. I share the right thing here. Is this one? Nope, not that one. Okay, here we go. Okay, there you have it. So as I'm sharing my page, what you should be seeing is a graphic of a Facebook story or Airman NCO story of a officer, Major Brittany Curry. So I guess she's under fire for people reporting her conduct off duty and her being an officer. So reason why I wanted to share this one is because for a couple of reasons. I'm gonna stop my screen share here. Hopefully you got to see it. Y'all put a thumbs up or a like in the comment or something. Let me know you guys be able to see it. We got a comment from the Gooch. Bro, hell no, they are fear mongers and bots. I agree. Oh, so you don't think the Airmen NCO page is any good, huh? That's interesting. But anyway, going on to the story. The reason why I wanted to cover this one is because, one, I've never met this officer before. I've served with a lot of officers, most of them good, some bad. And I do agree, in some cases, there are some officers that seem to think standards do not apply to them. Now, I'm not saying this in this case of the young major. I'm not saying that. But the question is, does your off-duty conduct really should be held into account when it comes to your military career? So some of the things that were accusations or people had an issue with this post is these photos that were on the Facebook on her personal page of her being with another woman and all of that stuff. What I find interesting is what you gonna do? That's her own life. What is wrong with that? I mean, like, what would be the difference if it was a okay, Tony Boston says Department of Air Force 111. Can you elaborate? Are you saying that in Department of Air Force 1-1 that it can be held against you? And if it is, I agree. However, is that fair? I personally think if you're in uniform and you're displaying some conduct that seems a little bit off or unprofessional, then yes. If you are representing and you're telling people that you are an Air Force, a military member, and you're doing some weird, inappropriate behavior, I agree. But in this case, what I've seen is an off-duty Air Force officer displaying PDA to, I would think, her friend or her girlfriend or her wife. What is wrong with that? It's not like she was in uniform when it happened, unless there's some pictures I miss. Somebody educate me here. What am I missing here? And the sad thing is, it ended up on this Airmen NCO page. What is the issue? So I did a little digging because this story was on this page called The Salty Soldier. I've been on that page a couple of times. It's pretty interesting. So anyway, the whole thing about it is that this idea of her behavior or these pictures being shown on social media, and I would assume maybe some of her subordinates seen it and maybe they had some issues with it and they reported her. She's like a public affairs officer. And so they reported it. And so their issue is she, in their opinion, was never reprimanded. She still continues to be in a leadership position. Again, I don't get it. And the 2903, it says in uniform, any official capacity, no PDA, right? Then it said pretty much in uniform. Doesn't say anything about off duty. And then when you look at it, this PDA rule was added to the AFI right around the 2011 repeal of the Don't Ask, Don't Tell. Before that, it had only existed as unwritten custom. So what am I missing here? I mean, now, unless there's some context that I'm missing, like say this person she's in a picture was her subordinate. Tony B says, a woman hugging another woman in a bikini, perfectly fine. The whole female fellatio sign is a problem. Interesting. Would it be a problem, Gooch, if we didn't know she was an Air Force officer? I mean, is it no different than seeing a military member off duty, a male, at a strip club going like this? Never been to the strip club, just saying. But would that be wrong? Or flipping somebody off in traffic? I've seen people get reported on the Air Force installation for flipping somebody off in traffic. Now, you could say, in theory, that when it comes to, let's see, professionalism is subjective. Like it's a wide angle to look at it. In other words, what might be unprofessional to you might not be unprofessional to me, I guess what I'm trying to say. And so I'm not at all condoning these pictures. Do I think they're disturbing? No, but I can understand how people could feel that they're unprofessional. But I personally think it's kind of, I won't say it's ridiculous. I think it's kind of blown out of proportion, in my opinion. And for them to think that she shouldn't command anymore. There's a lot of commanders out there doing some foul stuff. They should be focusing on them. Jacory Royster, welcome to the show. People made it an issue because it's out there. Now she's subjected to public opinion. The military doesn't help. Corey, help me out on there, man. When you said when people made it an issue because it's out there, is it to the Gooch said earlier? Is just the motion of female fellatio? You know what I'm saying? Like before, during the times when there was don't ask, don't tell, I can see that being an issue because I've had old troops, old friends who may have done something and somebody spotted them doing it and then they brought it up and they would say, hey, I think this person is homosexual. But in these days, last I checked, outside of being transsexual, you can be homosexual in the military. Am I missing something? Tony Gooch, I said Booch. Tony Gooch says, yes, DAF 11 explains it all in a broad sense. They are not civilians and are held at a higher standard. Bring her in and have a conversation. Gooch, I agree with you there. I think a conversation is appropriate, but I think it should stop there. And I don't know what, if she's experienced any type of derogatory punishment or disciplinary action. But I just find it interesting on this page, she ends up there. I think she's been up there at least twice from what I've seen. And the more I've seen it, I was like, what am I missing here? You know what I mean? Like she is having a good time on her off-duty time. And yes, the manner, the motion she made, the sexual act could be offensive. I can see that. Then it's a conversation like, hey, hey, you're an Air Force commissioned officer. Doing those type of acts could bring discredit to you, not only to your unit. But how come nobody says anything about these folks in uniform doing these parodies? Is that the same? Isn't that the same? Gooch says, even if she was acting like she was giving male fellatio is wrong, your sexual orientation doesn't matter. That action is inappropriate, especially for an officer. Okay. I would like to unpack that. So wouldn't it be wrong for whether you're an enlisted or officer or civilian, Department of Defense employee? I guess that's where I'm getting at. I wonder if it was the opposite, would we be still having this conversation? I would argue we probably wouldn't. We probably wouldn't. If you see a married couple on the street exchanging a passionate kiss out in the middle of daylight, and somebody saw them and knew there was an Air Force officer enlisted, would they end up on this page? I don't know. I don't think so. I think going back to what you said earlier, Gooch, not disagreeing with that part as far as the conversation. I can see a conversation. I can see that one. But all this stuff about putting her military picture up with these pictures is ridiculous. Crazy work. I personally think it's crazy work. What I want to know is she a good officer? Does she take care of her people? That's what I really want to know. Because I've seen much worse. But anyway, feel free to drop more comments in the chat. I'll move on to the next topic. The Gooch says officers are held to a higher standard. A kiss and a blowjob is different. Okay, Gooch, I hear you, but it wasn't actual Bravo Juliet. It was a motion. Anybody else, somebody else in the chat, let me know. What am I doing? Where am I going? I mean, what am I getting wrong here? I frankly don't see any issue with it at all. If anything, I got more of an issue with the folks in uniform doing parodies while in uniform. I have more of an issue with that. Because at least she wasn't in uniform. If she was in uniform, that's a different issue. Or she was saying, hey, I'm Major blah, blah, blah from so-and-so service, and she did it. That's different. But she didn't do that as far as I know. All right. My take on this one is I think we got to use some sense, people. Like, one, she shouldn't end up on a page like that. Number two, there's always two sides to a story. And I understand. I don't see both sides. I only see what I see face value. But just speaking on what I've seen face value, I don't have an issue with it. I really don't. Let's see. The Goose says, would she do that in front of the Wing King? I don't know. Maybe she would. Maybe at a party. I've been at many parties where there were senior officers there, and I've seen some strange things. Some strange things. Can we say Korea? Kunsan, Osan, surfboard, commanders on surfboard, commanders on stage with said dancers. So I don't know. I think a conversation is appropriate. I think that's more than enough there. Okay. Now, moving on. Let's talk about, so I don't know how interested you guys are in it, but I am, because this is crazy work. For you guys who are video game fanatics like myself, as you can see behind me, they had two big release drops last week. GP Wash, what's up? Pilot drop night. Crazy work. I know exactly what you mean. Good example. How about officers burning pianos on their military base and having the fire department stand by ready to put out the fire because it's a tradition. Charles Davis in the building. What's up, my brother? I'm glad Pete ain't here. He would have a problem with this one. I think all should be careful trying to make moral equivalencies when those in highest of leadership have cheated on wives and sexually harassed and etc. But we have little to say about those, but outraged by this officer's actions. Let's not act like Christmas parties and Korea is not out there. I agree with you, my brother. I agree. Facts. There's a lot more worse out there. GP Wash says crud. Charles Davis says good Sunday, my brother. Appreciate it. I agree 100%. Continue to put your comments on there about this topic. Moving on. Grand Theft Auto 6. Grand Theft Auto 6. For those who play video games, if you're judging me because I'm old, I'm not really old, I'm seasoned, but I'm playing video games, judge away. I don't care. I don't really drink. I don't gamble. I don't do drugs. I play video games. So, Grand Theft Auto 6, I played every single version through every iteration. And if you know, Grand Theft Auto is more than a game, it's a cultural phenomenon. So we've been waiting for Grand Theft Auto 6 for years. And every time they get close to releasing it, they delay it. But they finally released the date. November is when it's coming out. And they did pre-orders. And so, of course, most folks fear FOMO. They're going to do the pre-orders. And so for those who are video game fanatics, you know, when you get a game, I wish I had a game right here. Oh, fudge. I would go back there, but I don't want to mess up the show. Anyway, you open the case and there's the disc, right? There's the disc. I really want to get up and go get a game. Focus, counsel. You open the game, there's the disc. And then for you old school folks like myself, there's the disc or the game, and there's the manual. Remember those days? You had a manual, and a map, right? If it's a game. So in the old Grand Theft Auto games, you had a disc, manual, and a map. Well, they did away with that now. All you get is the case, and you get the disc. Well, Grand Theft Auto 6, arguably the biggest release they've had in a decade, I would imagine. They did pre-orders on Thursday of this week, and people flocked to pre-order it. But guess what they found out, including your boy? No disc. You just get a digital code. A digital code, man. And not only that, guess how much the standard edition game is? $90. $90 for a game with no disc, no manual is crazy work. And it gets worse. The collector's edition, which I was shooting for personally, $150. And guess what? You don't get a special box. You don't get a special mannequin or statue. You don't get like a, I don't know, special poster. You get access to additional content that would normally be available in the game. How is that? That's crazy work. $150. You don't get no disc. You don't get no manual. You get access to stuff that should have been in the game. And they had over 3 million pre-orders. Now, for you folks that don't play video games, let me illustrate this. Imagine paying $100 for a game. You don't get a disc, and you have the game bought, purchased, and you can't even play it till November. Charles Davis says, no Easter eggs for $90 is crazy work. Corey Royster says, it's been that way. I haven't had a legit disc since PS4. Why is that? Yo, how are we having them get away with this? GP Watch says, they've been preparing us for this since COVID. You about to see a repeat of video markets like Blockbuster. I don't know about y'all, but when I buy my games, I like to actually have a disc or a cartridge, you know? Like a digital code to me. I mean, I guess when you really look at it on the flip side, when you buy a, say, an album, like when you get an album from iTunes or Spotify, you download it, it's not really yours per se. You pay for a streaming service that allow you access to it. But if you don't pay for the streaming service no more, you lose it. But that's different. That's a streaming service. If I'm paying $80, $90 for a game, I want the disc. Now, most people say it's because the game is like 300 gigabytes. 300 gigabytes. Most people like Pete. Pete's got an Xbox Series S. He only got 512 gigabytes. He ain't gonna be able to fit Grand Theft Auto on there. He had to delete every game he got. But the story of this is, on my rant is this. $80 for a game, no disc. It just seems like, to GP Wash's point, this was like a good test bed, and we're falling for it. That we're paying all this money to get this game, and we ain't getting no disc. That's crazy. Crazy, 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 crazy. 30 million pre-orders. $3 billion in revenue. And the game isn't even playable yet. I'm in the wrong business, y'all. I need to get into the video game business. Put your boy Philly DC in Grand Theft Auto 6. Let me be a crackhead or something. I don't know. Let me, just as long as I get paid, put me in the game. But anyway, so for all you guys who are video game folks and gals, Grand Theft Auto 6 is out. I wouldn't rush to go pre-order it. It's a digital code. It's not like they're going to sell out. It's not going to, which is even more crazy work. People went out there to rush to order this game, and it's not going to sell out because it's a digital code. Okay, my rant is over. Moving on. All right. Now, let's talk about the WNBA real quick, because I felt like this was a very interesting story and very compelling. So for all you folks, even if y'all may not be fans of the WNBA, I'm sure y'all gotta be, y'all have to know who Caitlin Clark is. Yes, Caitlin Clark, what do they call it? The Messiah of the WNBA, all that. Thank you, brother. Yeah, crazy work. The Messiah of the WNBA, whatever. And so some people actually, I won't say the audacity. Some people compare Caitlin Clark to Michael Jordan in the WNBA. Remember when Michael Jordan came in, he was getting the Detroit rules or the Jordan rules. He's getting beat up. Well, they think the same thing's happening to Caitlin Clark. So, you know, Caitlin Clark has taken a lot of bumps and bruises since she's been in, but she's been, you know, still doing good in the WNBA. But there was one particular incident that's caused quite the stir. And it's got the media talking. So let me see if I can share my screen here. I just want to show the picture of it. Because I tell you, when I saw the game, I did not believe my eyes what I saw. Now, I was like, you have got to be kidding that this was allowed. So let me see. Let me find share screen. Yes, understand. Let's see. Okay. Boom. Here's the picture. Hopefully y'all see it. Y'all see this picture of Alyssa Thomas. She's got some big arms, pause. And she's got her arm on Caitlin Clark's neck. This is during the game. All right. Now, okay. So before I proceed, let me just say that I'm not condoning what Alyssa Thomas did. I'm not. However, what I find interesting is the WNBA is getting really chippy. Is it not? Am I the only one that's thinking that? I mean, like, there's been some stuff. I mean, now you got Sophie Cunningham, which I think is awesome, is being compared to Draymond Green. What am I missing? It's starting. The WNBA is starting to become the brawl league. So looking at this picture, how many games you think Alyssa Thomas should have been suspended? Charles Davis says, armor her neck is a crazy statement. Exactly. Facts. But how many games do you think she should have been suspended? I will tell you. You know, out of this, she got suspended 1 game. 1 game. And maybe the picture is, you know, a little bit more, there's an exaggeration. Maybe it wasn't, by looking at the picture, it wasn't as bad as it may have seemed, but it looked bad to me. And Caitlin Clark is their golden goose, right? And I remember, I think Caitlin Clark got suspended too. At one point, I forgot which game it was. Maybe it was, no, it wasn't that game. But anyway. But the main thing is, why does it seem like the WNBA is really getting chippy? Really chippy. What is going on? Do you think it was always that way? Or do you think it just, you know, just starting to slowly get that bad? I don't know. But most folks are claiming the WNBA is officiating is consistently too lenient on Caitlin Clark. Most folks say it's a pattern across multiple incidents during the season. But there was a couple of missed calls that got inflated into a bigger narrative. I think it's partly because who Caitlin Clark is. Like, I'm wondering what the other players are thinking. Are they like really treating her like that because they're pissed off because she gets so much fanfare? I don't know. I mean, Caitlin Clark is a great player. I won't say great. She's a good player. Do I think she's the best player in the WNBA? No. I personally think I would throw an Asia Wilson in there. Charles Davis says 2 games. What am I reading? Did I get it wrong? I just read something said 1 game. I could be wrong. So 2 games. Or are you saying she should have got suspended for 2 games? Charles Davis also says, let's see the whole video. What if it was a second of her catching her fall? Interesting. I'm going to see if I can find it while I'm still talking to you guys. That'll be interesting to see if I can do it without getting banned. But I do think, I don't know, I think the WNBA has gotten a lot exciting. It's gotten much more exciting, but it has gotten a bit, like, rough, in my opinion. Let's see. Okay, maybe I'll try this one. Hold on, y'all. I'm going to try to share my screen again. Y'all give your boy a shout out. I mean, I'm doing actually good. I'm sharing my screen. We didn't get cut out yet. Let's see. YouTube. All right, y'all see that joint? All right, we're going to share. Okay, let's play it.
Moment on the court is stirring up major controversy in the WNBA. It involves a player who put her fist on Caitlin Clark's throat during a game.
As Chanel Call reports, Clark's coach says it's part of a pattern.
Clark, defended by Hell, lost her footing.
On Thursday, the WNBA said it suspended Phoenix Mercury star Alyssa Thomas for 1 game.
Caitlin to the ground and
a day after she used her fist to press down on Indiana
Right. Hey, Charles, what do you think about that one? It looked like she put her fist in her throat. Yo, don't look like she was trying to catch her fall, man. Like her fist was balled up. She gave her the Dragon Ball Z power fist on that joint. And she got 1 game. That's crazy work. Anyway, it has made it interesting watching the WNBA, but it's getting a bit chippy. Almost taken away from the actual good play. Y'all continue to put comments on that topic. I'm curious to see what y'all think about Caitlin Clark's issue. But her obviously her coach is fired up over that, and I don't blame her. All right, rolling into the last topic as we start to bring this plane into a landing. Let's talk about all you. Oh, wait a minute, we got a comment. I'm sorry. Charles Davis, plainly, I do not think those women like Clark. The whole she is Jordan is crazy. I think her MJ hype is more like Harold Miner. Wow. Harold Miner? Haven't heard that name in a while. Baby Jordan? She wanted her to eat that fist. Damn, exactly. Yeah, I think, it's almost like if you get, you know what it's like? It's almost like, you ever been into a unit and you became like the go-to person? The commander loves you. The chief loves you. The supervisors love you. You're getting all the accolades. And then people, your troops next to you treat you like crap. It's almost like that. It's like they jealous or something. That's an interesting point. But let's talk about LeBron James for our last topic. Man, the other day I got into this long debate with my coworker. I don't know why I did it. Over who is better, LeBron James or Michael Jordan. But then when I was looking at the NBA news, seems like the Lakers don't think LeBron is all that great. They didn't give him an extension. No contract offer from the Lakers as of June 30th. Free agency opens up June 30th. And LeBron has not gotten no contract from the Lakers. What's up with that? He's the king. Where's his contract at? So LeBron may be deciding to retire, but there are rumors that there may be a reunion with Miami. Don't know how that's going to happen since they got Giannis. Golden State and Cleveland. If you're at Cleveland and you are Miami, why would you want LeBron back? It'd be more of a distraction, right? And don't get me wrong, LeBron still plays hard. LeBron is a good player. But it might be time, man. Like even Jordan, when Jordan was with the Wizards, he wasn't Bulls Jordan, but he was good. But even then, he knew he had to go. And frankly, your boy, me personally, I'm tired of LeBron. It's time for LeBron to go. Let these young stars like Wembanyama and Anthony Edwards, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and plus let Luka continue to shine. LeBron, pack that dude up. It's time for him to retire, man. And then going on, going on to the topic of who's better, LeBron or Michael Jordan. First of all, I don't even know why we continue to have this conversation. I'm starting to think folks who are in the LeBron era are more leaning towards LeBron because they just love to have somebody in their era as the greatest. I'm sure back when you had Magic Johnson, there was debates about Magic Johnson and Larry Bird and Michael Jordan, who's better. So I get that. You are in the age or era of LeBron James. You just want to feel like you grew up where you had someone who's the greatest. But come on, y'all, man. I'm not saying this by a landslide, but I mean, the numbers tell itself, man. Like, Jordan is 6-0 in the final. This dude never lost an NBA Finals. Never. That means on the biggest show of the NBA, he's never lost. Count it. Never lost. 10 scoring titles to LeBron James. LeBron James has a record of scoring the most points in NBA history. But this dude never won nowhere near as many scoring titles as Jordan, which tells me LeBron played more years than Jordan. If Jordan would have played as long as LeBron, he would have had the scoring title. Jordan was Defensive Player of the Year 9 times. All defensive first team nods. And he walked away twice near his peak rather than playing into visible decline. This dude walked away to play baseball. Came back and won a title. Now let's go to LeBron. Yes, we already talked about that. LeBron is the all-time career scoring leader. Past the record stood 40 years. Yeah, he beat out the great Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, which hurt my heart. And he became scoring the most points in NBA history. Quite the achievement. I would give him that. But again, if Jordan would have played as long as LeBron, he would have had that record too. LeBron won titles with 3 different franchises as the clear best player of each time. Oh, let's break that down. When LeBron won his first title with the Miami Heat, who did he have? Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, who at the time were all-stars. Dwayne Wade, I would imagine, is going to be a Hall of Famer if he's not already. And who else did he have? He had Ray Allen on one of those teams, right? That was another debate. People talk about, Jordan had a stacked team. Stacked. When Jordan won his first title, he had Scottie Pippen. I'll give you that. But he had like Bill Cartwright, Steve Kerr. I mean, Steve Kerr wasn't bad, but come on, he's not Dwayne Wade. Orlando Woodridge. Come on, guys. And then when you look at LeBron James, like I said, Ray Allen, Shane Battier, come on, guys. LeBron James, I'll give him that. He's still an all-star caliber player at 41. Still, Jordan retired when he knew it was time. So in the end, I personally think I would give, somebody said that LeBron is more or less a better player, like physical player than Jordan. I would agree to that. However, the things that make a player great, like tenacity, preparation, drive, tenacity, leadership. I personally think LeBron can't touch Jordan. He just can't. In fact, I don't even think he can't touch Kobe. In my opinion, I think Kobe's better than LeBron, personally. So all you LeBron lovers out there, I would hope to hear your comments. Put it in the chat. And when you get on YouTube, if you disagree, put it in there too. We'd love to hear your comments. And please do not tell me all this nonsense about LeBron is a better player, LeBron is bigger, he would back Jordan down. I ain't trying to hear all that. Charles Davis says, James Harden has scored more points than Magic and Larry Bird, but does that mean he is better? Scoring as a measuring stick is a loaded stat. Okay, Charles, I get the distinct feeling that you believe that LeBron James is better than Jordan. Interesting fact you presented. However, I just want to redirect you to something to consider. Although Harden has scored more than Bird and Magic, Harden doesn't have 6 rings. Not only that, Harden has never won MVP in every single NBA Finals. Not only that, if we're talking about LeBron James the same way, saying that he's got the most points in NBA history don't mean he's better than Jordan, right? My point I'm making is Jordan retired earlier than LeBron. LeBron's still playing, stacking up points. If Jordan would have kept going, he would have had the same thing. It's no different than Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders left early in the NFL. He probably would have been the all-time rushing leader. No, LBJ is not, in my opinion. Oh, okay. Fair enough. So, I would love to hear people comments on this story. I have none but the respect, utmost respect for LeBron James. He had a phenomenal career, but he's not better than Jordan. I mean, here's another fact. Some people may think it don't matter, but I do. When you walking down the street, do you still have somebody say, yo, I like them bronze you got on? How is this guy, Michael Jordan, been retired so long and his sneakers will live forever? Forever. I was just saying that just because someone has scored more does not mean a player such as LeBron is better than MJ. My bad, Charles. Good point. Charles Davis, how many LeBron shoes do you have in your closet? I tell you, I got one pair, and I've been trying to sell them for 3 years. Nobody wants to buy them. LeBron 10 denim. I've been trying to sell those for not 10 years. I've been trying to sell those for 3 years. Nobody wants them. But I put a pair of J's up. Oh, they gonna buy them. They gonna buy them. That should tell you that right there. All right. With that, we were closed. So, UPC family, heads up. Next week, I will not be on. I'm going to miss y'all, man. I know. But next week is your boy's anniversary. Me and my lovely bride, my gal, my right-hand girl, my ride or die. You know what I'm saying? We're going to celebrate, wait for it, our 32-year anniversary. Thank you. Thank you. 32 years of loving. Me and my gal, Wendy. We celebrating our 32-year anniversary. So we're going to celebrate. So next week, your boy is not going to be on. I'm going to be spending time with my gal, enjoying, loving on each other, enjoying this 32 years, celebrating life, marriage. Which brings me to a quick topic that I don't want to forget. We had one of our listeners contact Pete, a female, and posed an interesting question. And I wish I had more people on here, but I'm going to pose it anyway. If you see this later, love to hear your comments. And the question was, or the topic was, when a man should only date a woman based on how much he can afford. In other words, should a man pay for everything in a marriage or in a relationship? Like not only dinner, car note, utilities, or whatever. And should a man be judged on how good they are based on how much he's willing to pay to take care of said lady? Curious to hear your thoughts, gentlemen. I will tell you this. I'll tell you mine. When I met my wife, I felt like, based on what I had, she deserved it. So yeah, I pay for everything. But just like me, my wife thinks, oh man, good looking out, man. Charles, thank you. Input addressed the same way. Oh, okay, congrats on the 30, about to hit 20 in October. Congrats, man. 20 is a big milestone, Charles. Congratulations, man. You're a very small percentage of the population to be able to stay together that long in your marriage. So congrats to you, bro. But I'm curious, Charles, weigh in real quick, man. Do you feel like I feel like my wife helps me pay for stuff to a small degree because she wants to help because I've earned that, right? But I do believe there's certain things men are expected to do. But when you meet a brand new woman, she should not judge you on how she's going to go out with you or even think about going out with you based on how much you're willing to pay. It's almost like, don't get in the car if you can't afford it. What am I missing there? You know what I mean? Like, my take is this. If that's the case, then that means when I come home, I want the house squared away. I want food on the table. I want it when I want it, how I want it, all that. Because that's almost like baby boomer mentality. You know how it is when you're in a marriage where the man goes out with his briefcase, he goes to work, the woman stays home, take care of the kids, whatever, and the house is clean, and the man comes home, she got his food on the table, it's nice and hot, and that's it. And, you know, they have sexual relations, whatever, whenever he wants. That's baby boomerish mentality. But in this day and age, I would think most women would say, no, that's antiquated thinking. Like, we have our own careers, we have this. So if that's the case, why should y'all worry about how much a man could do for y'all? I mean, obviously you don't want no broke man. That's true. But why should a man think about, oh, well, this lady is going to be expensive. Probably don't want to date her. What am I missing? So, ladies, if you're listening to this later, put in the comments, curious to hear what you think. Fellas, y'all do the same. That being said, we're going to take this plane and we're going to land it. Appreciate y'all rocking with your boy today, being solo. Shout out to Pete out there still handling his business. We will see him soon. And like I said, much as I want to, but I'm going to take off next week so I can hang out with my gal and celebrate our anniversary. You can catch our old shows and even this one when it uploads to YouTube. Feel free to like, share, and comment. Share it with your people. And oh yeah, you know what? I just want to say thank y'all, man, because subscribers is going up. Subscribers going up. Followers going up. All because of y'all, man. Y'all spreading the news, telling folks about our channel, our podcast. We appreciate it, man. Please continue to do that. Let's see here. Uh-oh. Oh, Charles Davis. I agree. We are with true ladies, though, so I can't speak on these raggedy women out here today. I can't even get past the idea of paying for these long ass nails because I know they hygiene. That's crazy work. Yo, yeah, I agree. Some of these ladies need some hard maintenance. So I agree. That's crazy work. Great comment, man. All right. So this your boy, Philly DC. Out with another one. Appreciate y'all, man. I will see y'all after the 4th of July weekend. Be safe with your fireworks. Make sure you got plenty of clearance. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to shoot them at somebody you really don't like. And make sure, quick public announcement. If you're going to somebody's barbecue and there's mac and cheese, make sure it's mac and cheese, not soup and cheese. One way to know, you dig the fork in the mac and cheese. If you pull it up, the cheese should be pulling on the fork. If you can eat the mac and cheese with a straw, that's soup and cheese. And I frankly don't like raisins in potato salad. So anyway, that being said, it's your boy Philly DC. Appreciate y'all thinking. I am out, and as always, go Eagles.